it looks like we're live on both. There. So I'm watching 2 laptops and 4 monitors. Just a normal, another normal day. Another fun day. Good evening, everybody, and welcome back to our Sunday night astronomy show. My name is Chris Kerwin, and I'm going to be your host here this evening. And of course, I'd like to welcome back all of those who have been with us here before, and a big welcome to all the new viewers that have been following the page lately. I guess another 800 viewers so far this month, so that's great.
Oh, sweet.
Welcome. Yeah, we're up to 8,000 now, so unbelievable.
Wow.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying. So this is our Sunday night offering of Astronomy Outreach, the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. And again, my name is Chris Kerwin. I'll be your host for this evening, and I would like to welcome back, of course, Paul Owen. I'm going to click on Paul here so everybody can see who he is.
Do I do that again?
There he is. Hey!
Great big hands. Look how big the hands are.
Welcome.
Tiny head and great big hands.
And I'm going to, of course, welcome back Mike Powell as well. Hey, Mike.
Yeah, my hands aren't as big. They're little tiny hands.
It cost me a fortune for gloves, I'm telling you.
And of course, Paul's with the Moonshadow Observatory in Hampton, and Mike is with the PFO Observatory here in St. John. So we hope that everyone had a very safe and healthy week this week. We know we're all going through a bunch of stuff at the moment, but that's why we're bringing you this show. So we got a number of things lined up here for you this evening. We're going to begin with a discussion, as we do now, about what's been happening in space over the last week or so. Just got 2 mice going here, and I got to get 2 laptops clicked on the right image.
Click off
hang
me.
on here. You're trying to get there. There we go. So we're going to begin with a discussion on what's been happening in space over the last week, and then Paul will present a discussion on what filters to use on your equipment when you're imaging the night sky. That can be a difficult choice and an expensive choice if you make the wrong choice, so that's why we're here to talk about it. And then after that, we're going to have a few photos that people have sent into our YouTube channel here to offer, which is great. I'm going to give you the address and how to send in some photos yourself if you'd like. And then following that, Mike is going to give us another Mike Guyver episode. This time it's going to be on how to build and use an observing trailer, which would be another interesting project for sure. And then after that, Paul's going to present our Rosanna's Fun Fact segment, always a wonderful topic of interest in astronomy. And then we'll end the show with a look at what's happening over the next week or so in our night sky using the program Stellarium, which is an easy-to-use and free open-source planetarium program. So I'd like you all to sit back and enjoy a little bit, grab your favorite beverage or a bowl of popcorn or both, really. And remember, this is a live broadcast, and we encourage your questions and comments about the night sky, and we're happy to try and answer all we can. And I'd like to say as well, a shout out there to my brother Danny, who tunes into every show. He has tuned into all 27 episodes now. So
Excellent.
Excellent. Hey, Danny, and wish my sister Carol a happy birthday as well. So
Happy birthday, Carol.
don't mind giving shout outs. She's my oldest sister. I'm not going to say how old, or I wouldn't. I wouldn't be around much more. Anyway, so let's get started then on what's new in space this week. So let me see if I can share my screen first of all. I guess that's what I got to do first. And I'm going to try to share this one. And it's going to do that for a second until I get out of this. Just bear with me, folks. Get the right screen up. And let's see what this does. Can you guys see an image there now?
We can.
Okay. Wow. Whew. That's a good thing. Shirley says, what are we watching tonight? I'm looking on Facebook here. Shirley, we're watching the Sunday Night Astronomy Show. It's a show that we introduce one night a week here from St. John, New Brunswick. And tonight we're going to be offering a number of different talks about astronomy. Hey, Peter, welcome. And always into the moon. Hello from Calgary, welcome. So, Mike, you're looking after comments there, I see. That's perfect.
Yeah.
Paul, maybe I'll get you to keep an eye on the YouTube ones while I try to go through this little bit of talk about our week in space. So an international team of astronomers has captured 15 images of the inner rims of planet-forming disks, excuse me, located hundreds of light years away. Now these disks of dust and gas, similar in shape to a music record, form around young stars. The images shed new light on how planetary systems are formed. Planet-forming or protoplanetary disks are formed in unison with the star they surround. The dust grains in the disks can grow into larger bodies, which eventually lead to the formation of planets. Rocky planets like Earth are believed to form in the inner regions of the protoplanetary disks, less than 5 astronomical units or 5 times the Earth-Sun distance from the star around which the disk has formed. So these are rare to see through telescopes, but we're able to capture them now. These are the beginnings of planets. Some findings immediately stand out from the images. You can see that some spots are brighter or less bright, like in the images. This hints at processes that can lead to planet formation. For example, there could be instabilities in the disk that can lead to vortices, where the disk accumulates grains of space dust that can grow and evolve into a planet. So pretty cool stuff that we're able to image now. Protoplanetary disks, we see many of them in the Orion Nebula as well, but these are the early stages of planets forming around stars that are hundreds of light years away. And then we're going to talk a little bit about Comet Atlas, which was the dud, I guess. Let's bring it over here. Just get this one out of the way. Let's bring this one up. So, the NASA ESA Hubble Space Telescope has provided astronomers with the sharpest view yet of the breakup of comet C2019Y4 Atlas. The telescope resolved roughly 30 fragments of the fragile comet on the 20th of April and 25 pieces on the 23rd of April. The comet was first discovered in December 2019, not very long ago, by the ATLAS, or the Asteroid Terrestrial Impact Last Alert System. Atlas is a good name, I guess. The Robotic Astronomical Survey System in Hawaii. It brightened quickly until about mid-March, and some astronomers initially anticipated that it might be visible to the naked eye in May to become one of the most spectacular comets seen in the last 2 decades. However, the comet abruptly began to get dimmer, leading astronomers to speculate that the icy core may be fragmenting or even disintegrating. The Hubble telescope's new observations of the comet's breakup on 20th and 23rd of April reveal that the broken fragments are all enveloped in a sunlight-swept tail of cometary dust. Hubble's crisp images may yield new clues, though, to the breakup. The telescope has distinguished pieces as small as the size of a house. Before the breakup, the entire nucleus of the comet may have been no more than the length of 2 football fields. Now, the disintegrating Atlas comet is currently located inside the orbit of Mars at a distance of about 145 million kilometers from Earth when the latest Hubble observations were taken. The comet will make its closest approach to Earth on the 23rd of May at a distance of about 115 million kilometers, and 8 days later it will skirt within 37 million kilometers of the Sun. So that's what's happened to Comet Atlas. It's ended up as a dud, which does happen quite often. But let's take a look at this guy. If I can get the picture in the right spot. Here's our new one. Comet Atlas is no more, but Comet Swan appears ready to take over the title of the best naked eye comet of 2020. The newly discovered Comet Swan has already developed an impressive tail. The comet came in from the outer solar system and has just passed the inside the orbit of the Earth. Officially designated C2020 F8, this outgassing interplanetary iceberg will pass its closest to the Earth on May 13th and closest to the Sun on May 27th. The comet was first noticed in late March by an astronomy enthusiast looking through images taken by ESA's and NASA's Sun-orbiting SOHO spacecraft, and is named for the spacecraft's solar wind anisotropes, or SWAN camera. The featured image, taken from the dark skies of Namibia, right here, in mid-April, captured Comet Swan's green glowing coma and an unexpectedly long, detailed, and blue ion tail. Although the brightness of comets are notoriously hard to predict, some models have comet swarm becoming bright enough to see with the unaided eye during June. So this one was captured by Gerald Riemann, his name is, and it was actually the astronomy picture of the day the other day. So very nice capture,
Wow.
eh?
Wow.
And of course, Damien Peach. Here's his rendition of it. Watch this one. So there we are.
Wow.
So Damien Peach actually captured it too last week, or earlier this week. And he says it's a full 8 degrees from the head to the tail.
That is quite a tail.
Long tail. And actually, it's actually the magnitude right now is about 4.3. So it's certainly visible with the naked eye at the moment in the southern hemisphere. So they're getting it up around the constellation of Scepter, I guess. So it's or Sculptor. It's up almost to the horizon for us, and we're going to get a view of it within the next week or so. Now, all we can do is hope, right? Because comets are notoriously unpredictable. So this one could break apart as well, but it doesn't seem like it's going to, but because the nucleus is so well formed here, and the ion trail is quite long. So we expect this one is going to be our nice comet of the month of May in the early June. And we've been 20 years waiting for a really nice one, I guess. So we're really hoping this one is going to be. Now that it's at when it's at about magnitude 6, I guess, it's binocular view or just barely naked eye view. At 4.3 though, that's pretty well naked eye view. And I mean, you're not going to get this long tail like this at 4.3, but you're getting up to, I mean, at 3 magnitude 3, and that's only 2.5 times brighter. That would be the star Polaris. So you're getting close to that magnitude, and it's going to get brighter, of course, as it moves in closer to the sun. So you can certainly pick it up with binoculars right now if you're in the southern hemisphere, but we need about another week or so before we're going to get to see it. So it's going to be in our southeastern sky or eastern sky early in the morning in the next couple of weeks. So I'll start posting some information too about when our best chances are going to be to see it. So there. That's about all I got.
Well, you know, that comet reminds me a lot of Comet Lovejoy.
Yes.
This one seems to be brighter from the images that I can remember. But I remember, I think it was back in 2015 or 2014 or something
Mm-hmm.
when it was out, and I got some good shots of it. And I was just kind of a novice and taking pictures. And so I'm kind of excited about taking a crack at this one if we get the opportunity in this part of the world, because it's definitely brighter.
Oh, it is much. Yep. It's going to be an excellent comet, I think.
Yeah.
Oh, what do you call it? Because connection was lost. Oh, that's not good. So we're still live on Facebook, guys. Give me a second. We'll
Yep.
try to get us back in on.
We still look good on Facebook.
Okay, let me see if I can get us back in on the Hangouts.
Irene Doyle was mentioning, she said it's enough. Like she goes to YouTube, it's got a comment asking her to log into Google.
Oh.
Almost like Google Chat.
Oh, I wonder if what you put out there was for everybody to have to sign in, maybe, or something.
No,
I
it's
don't know.
a standard Hangout. Is
I lost
in a
you.
different window. So okay, let's.
I lost your video, Chris.
Just 1 second. You back there now?
No, just a little blue guy.
Oh yeah. So that just a little blue guy.
Yeah.
Lost me in the
You
other
look good as a
screen.
little blue guy, but hey.
Blue Man Group. Hang on.
Blue Man Group.
Bear with us, folks. It's not. This is one of those evenings.
It's a Sunday night.
It's a Sunday night,
Right.
and we're trying to do something. Let's see if this is going to get us back. And I'm off on both sides, aren't I? So 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, we're still active on YouTube, it says. I've lost the connection on Facebook, so I just need a second to get that one back. I'm going to hang up on it again here.
I just saw your desktop on Facebook.
You did? Okay.
For a second.
Let's try again. Join the Hangout.
Start singing Blue Moon if you like.
How's that? Oh, I just had it and it disappeared again. There it is.
Your desktop shows up on Facebook.
Okay, well, I'm only I don't need to be talking anyway. Paul's going to be sharing next, right?
Yeah.
So there, I think we're good on Facebook. Just give it a second on our Facebook, Mike.
Robert says YouTube was fine. I'm not sure when that came in. Space Link, anyone? Rick D, opinions? I don't know that we're going to be talking about Space Link tonight. We'll see if we can get around to it maybe near the end of the show and maybe have a little chat. But
Here, looks like we're back up on Facebook now. So
are we back up?
Yeah,
okay.
We're back up on both right now. So
okay,
let's hurry up.
Oh my goodness. All right, so I'm going to sign off of that so that I can concentrate on what I'm going to give to you whenever you're ready.
Yep, you go ahead now, Paul, so you can start to share.
Okay. All right, so am I up on the screen?
Just you, yes, by yourself, yeah. So
okay.
If you share.
Oh.
Well, no, I don't want to share any pictures yet. I just want to.
Oh, you want to talk?
Just me.
Oh, hang on.
I should keep looking there. It's funny when you're looking at the screen you're talking on, and the camera is over there. I got to take the hat off to. I won't do it now because I'll blind everybody. But I got to take my hat off to, or tip my hat to those people that do newscasts, because they got to follow lights and cameras and stuff, and it's just, of course, they get teleprompters, right? So when they're looking right at the screen, all the words are coming. They're just reading. When they're looking at you, they're actually reading. And anyway, maybe that's something we should talk about, Chris. I think you're ready.
Time for teleprompters.
Yeah. I'm tired of producing shows. I want to get back to the eyeballs, the eyepiece. Thanks very much.
Okay, well, anyway, we were going to talk about just a little bit about filters tonight. I'm not going to get into a really heavy, long thing, because this really was just about the kind of filters that typically that you might use as an amateur astronomer to go out there and maybe look at the moon, and maybe a couple of filters that we use to take some photographs with, and maybe the reasons why we would use one or two or three of these types of filters. So, to talk about filters, I guess the first thing would be to, what's a filter for? Why did they design filters? So filters basically were designed so that you could observe whatever the target that you were looking at, and with different results. So you could look at different, say if you're looking at the moon, you may choose a red filter, or you may choose a density filter. So depending if you're more interested in contrast, or if you're interested in certain features that filters would bring out. And what a filter is really, and I'll just show you ones that you would see in most starter kits. When Celestron sell you an eyepiece kit in a little silver case, then there's a bunch of filters. And these are kind of what you would see in a filter. Now, this particular one is just a yellow filter. And it's just a piece of glass that's basically allowing certain kind of light to transfer through it. So when you put this onto your eyepiece, so you would screw that on the end of the eyepiece, and then you would just simply drop your eyepiece in your telescope like you normally would. And so basically then when you're looking through this filter, because it's filtering certain wavelengths, you can actually get a better vantage point of certain features that you're looking at. And that's why they make so many different types and colors. Like, for example, that was a red one. This one's a blue one. So they make or that was a yellow one rather. This is a blue one. So they make all kinds of different filters for you to go through. Now, when you buy filters just for observing, they say this filter is designed for this feature on, say, the planets, and this filter is designed for this feature on certain nebulas. Everybody sees a little differently, so they're always going to be a little different to each person individually. If we were all a machine and we all had exactly the same vision and the same color sensitivity, then all these filters would work exactly the same for everybody. But that's not how us as human beings, we process and see things differently from one another. So that's why you have to kind of experiment sometimes with these filters. Some filters will work extremely well for some people and not so well for others for visual use. Then there's filters that are designed for imaging. And for example, I've got one here. Say this little filter here. Now this one here is what they call an L Pro filter, and it's made by a company called Optolong. And basically what that filter is for, it's designed to really suppress light pollution. So it's designed to give you a broad band of colors, but within that broad band of colors, it's kind of hacking out certain light frequencies that light pollution tends to give us. So for example, some of the older sodium lights would give us this yellowish orangish cast. Now we got these LED lights, and they give off more of a blue cast. So these filters, when they manufacture them, are designed to say, okay, you know what? In light pollution in most cities, these are the light issues that we're dealing with. So we need to kind of figure out a way to take down those color bands, but yet let everything else through that we're trying to observe, up in the sky. So if it's a galaxy, we want the natural star colors, we want the reds, the blues, the greens, whatever's up there to come through. But at the same time, we want to have that light pollution suppressed. So that's what a lot of these filters do. And that Optolong filter I just showed you, that's what it does. It's a light suppression filter, and it really helps bring out a more contrasty picture, and it cuts down on a lot of the light pollution that comes through. And if you're actually taking pictures, it'll help you with gradients. So in other words, there's certain spots on the sky that may have certain waves of light pollution in certain corners. It's designed to kind of even a lot of that stuff out. So that's basically what that one does. I also have another one here that I use for imaging, and this one's called a duo narrowband filter. And what this one means, this one's actually a narrowband filter. Now the one I showed you before, where'd it go, right here, this one's what they call a broadband filter. So broadband just simply means that we want to capture all of the spectrum of color, and we want to suppress some noise pollution or light pollution. But in this one here, it's a narrowband filter. So what it's designed to do is it will only allow very specific wavelengths through. This one will allow hydrogen alpha, which is right around, if you look at the back of the box, I don't know if you can see that, but it allows right around 600, I don't know if that's focused, but 656 nanometers is the red light spectrum where the H alpha is. So we want that to come through, because most of the nebulas that we image in the sky, most of them have hydrogen alpha, or a good amount of them have hydrogen alpha, which is that red stuff, and that's what we want. So this one allows that to come through, but it cuts off anything before and it cuts off anything after up until it gets into the blue range. And so that's what the duo narrowband means, that this filter actually allows two different wavelengths to come through. The hydrogen alpha in that 656 nanometer, that red area, but it also allows the oxygen 3, which is around 480 to 500 nanometers. And that's that color right there, that bluish, tealish, greenish, bluish, tealish, greenish, that would be the oxygen 3. So it wants that to come through. But anything in between those, the red and that blue, this filter is basically rejecting it. So it's really nice, because when you're rejecting this kind of, that kind of light, you're also able to shoot under a very, very bright moon. Because typically when we're trying to image anything, if it's a really bright moon, typically it washes up the sky so much, it's hard to be able to get anything because the sky is so bright and washed out. But with these narrowband filters, the moon is one of the things that actually cuts out. So you could actually image on a very, very bright moon. I wouldn't say try to image something right beside the target that you're trying to shoot if the moon is beside it. But if the moon is on the other side of the horizon, or on one side of the sky or the other, opposite of what your target is, these filters work extremely well. I've shot under lots of different moon conditions with these, and you would never know that I'm shooting with the moon being up as bright as it is. So that's another advantage to using a narrow band filter like this. It'll help you out with that. The other types of, oh, and by the way, those filters that I'm showing you, those are for what they call a one-shot color camera. They're designed for that. They're not really designed for a monochromatic camera. Now, a mono camera basically has no color to it. To make a one-shot color camera color, there's a little Bayer matrix that sits over the top of each one of the pixels. And each pixel has, in my case, the camera that I use, has a red, a blue, and 2 green light filters over top of the pixels. So when the light strikes it, if it's a green type of a color, for example, it'll light up to 2 greens, but the blue and the red won't be affected. Yeah, and if it's a red color, the red one will light up, but the other 3 won't light up. So, or won't be. I guess you would say, I'm going to use light up because I can't think of the right term. Anyway, so that's what that does. So that's basically just it's a color grid that sits over top of your sensor. Your sensor itself is monochromatic, but this grid, this Bayer matrix grid, it basically allows you to see color on the sensor. A lot of other cameras that people use for imaging that use like narrowband or red, blue, green filters are monochromatic cameras. And those cameras, like for example, I have one here. This little planetary camera here is a mono camera. And the reason that's mono is because I got that. So when I'm doing pictures, say, of Mars or Jupiter or Saturn, rather than capturing all the colors at once and just getting basically, a relatively good image, I can actually take each of those individual colors. And I do that through what they call...
No.
Not anymore.
Oh.
So you can see this one here.
So you can send your donations to Paul Owen.
I need a GoFundMe page now for a new camera. So anyway, so you can see here that there's different color filters in here. So that's basically what's happening is so that rather than having that little Bayer matrix that sits over top of the sensor in your one-shot color camera, you basically take one color at a time with this kind of a filter. So basically your camera slips in to the filter wheel, which is what this is. This just goes into your telescope. And then basically the light goes through this filter wheel into your camera. So if I'm shooting, say, Jupiter, I might want to shoot my red first. So I'll take and I'll put the red filter on, and then I'll take all my images in red. Then I'll switch it over because this is a manual filter wheel. You can get electronic ones. This one's manual. And I'll switch it over to blue, and then I'll take all my blue images, and then I'll switch it over to green, and then I'll take all my green images, and then I might do a luminance one too, which is just basically clear, just black and white. And then once I've got all those all taken, then I'll just blend them together, and then I'll get a color image. The reason a lot of people choose to go this route is because this camera is more sensitive because there's no matrix in front of the sensor. And when I'm shooting blue, all of the activity of that pixel is lit up with blue. When I'm shooting red, it's all red. With the Bayer matrix one or the one-shot colors, there's only a portion of those pixels that are being turned on depending on what the color is. So these cameras, these monochromatic cameras, are definitely more sensitive. And because they're more sensitive, you're going to get more detail. That's why people choose to go mono versus one shot. And that goes for planetary or deep sky. Now, the reason that I choose to go one-shot color is because we have very, very limited skies to play with here in the Maritimes. And being on the coast, it's rainy one minute, it's moist the next, it's dry, then it's rainy, it's moist, dry. So our conditions are changing all the time. So the reason for the filters, of course, is the different light pollution that you may run into. The reason for going one-shot color camera or a DSLR, for example, will be considered a one-shot color. The cameras that Mike and I use typically are one-shot colors. And the reason for going that way is because if I want to do a run of images, if I want to spend 6 hours on a target, I've got my red, blues, and greens all done in 6 hours. And as opposed to getting 6 hours of red and then having a bad night, waiting 3 or 4 days, then maybe getting my blue data, waiting another 2 or 3 days, and then maybe getting my green data. So because of where we live and the nature of how limited the good skies are here, that's why I choose to shoot one-shot color. However, we have a good friend of ours in Moncton, or Baktu Shamil, and he shoots in narrow band and uses a monochrome camera. Does some amazing work, but he's got way more patience than I do. So, so that's a little bit of ideas of some of the filters. If you have a Schmidt Cassegrain telescope, which is that orange telescope you see right back there, the very, very, very common telescope, you can buy filters for those. Oops, get my camera back now. Well, is this going to fall over too? There you go. So you can get filters for those that actually this is an oxygen 3 nebula filter. So if I want to look at, say, the Veil, and I want to see some really, really nice oxygen 3 stuff in the Veil Nebula, then basically I'll take this, and on the back of the camera or the scope, let me just turn my camera again. There we go. So in the back here, I would just unscrew this. Then I would take this and screw it on in its place, and then I put that over the back of this. And now I have my nebula filter already on there, and it's good to go for the whole night. So if I just want to do some imaging, or if I want to do some observing, that filter works great. So you can get screw-on type filters like that. If you have a DSLR, which a lot of us do, and I want to show you this. For example, here's the DSLR that I use. Get my camera back to me again. There we go. That I use quite often. And this is just a little Canon T3i. This one was what they call modified. So basically there's a little filter on the inside that cuts out a lot of the red light. It's an infrared filter. Anyway, it cuts out the red light sensitivity so that so I look, that's the way I look. When you take that that kind of a camera with this, a non-modified, a normal camera, and try to shoot nebulas and stuff, the H alpha, the red stuff, doesn't come out that great because the camera is stopping, that filter is stopping it. So what happens is when you get these modified is you take out that sensor in front of the filter in front of the sensor, and then you're actually adding about, I think what I read on it was somewhere between 75 and 80% more sensitivity to the H alpha region, which is what you want to shoot when you're shooting nebulas. So, so this one's modified. But even though it's modified, I still need to put filters on. So let's take this lens off, and you'll see on the inside, there's a filter in there, and it's called a CLS CCD, right down there. That just simply means that's city light suppression filter. And the CCD means that this particular filter was designed for a modified DSLR like mine is, with that filter taken out of in front of the sensor. Or if you're using a one-shot color camera, like a dedicated astronomy camera, that's designed to work well with it. If you don't have a one-shot color, or your camera's not modified, then you can get this one here. And this one's called a UHC-E filter. So basically it's the same idea, cuts out the same kind of wavelengths, but it's designed to work around a camera that doesn't have the modification done to the filter on the camera in front of the sensor. So there's a lot of filters you can get to do that. Now also, if I'm shooting something really, really red and bright, like say the Pelican Nebula, I may want an HA filter. So what these filters actually look like, I'll take one out and show you. These are what we call a clip-in filter. This one is designed specifically for the Canon EOS cameras, the APS-C size sensor. And basically all you do is you take your lens off, and as you can see on this one here, that's already in there. You just drop them in front of your sensor. So, and then once you got it in front of your sensor, I'll put this down where it's not going to get dirty. There we go. Then you take your camera lens and you just put your camera lens on, and away you go. But the only thing you have to be careful of, if you are using a Canon camera, you can't use the kit lenses, the EFS, anything that's got an S on it, because the bayonet of this part sticks out too far, and it'll actually hit your filter. So you got to make sure whatever lens you're using is not an EFS lens. And if you have a camera, you may already know that. If you don't, you can just go online and see which ones are EFS and which ones aren't. But in anyway, once you've got that filter in place, then you simply put your lens on. And now I'm ready to go out and take some shots with this light suppression. So if I'm in my backyard and there's a lot of light pollution going on, this is going to give me some really, really nice broadband colors, nice, even, beautiful star colors and all that stuff. And at the same time, because the camera's modified, I'm going to get my hydrogen alpha, which is what I want when I'm shooting that stuff. Now.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
Peter mentioned it's nice to know you got a filter to get rid of that Habs hat you had on.
You know, Peter, I was going to bring my Montreal mug down, but I couldn't find it, so I had to bring my Heartland one down. So this is my Heartland mug.
You want one like that. See, there's what you want.
All right, so I'm just going to share my screen for a minute. I just want to give you a couple of examples of how all this stuff works. So if I go to share screen, and I'm going to do this one, it'll probably go into that crazy zone, will it? Yeah. All right, let's get out of that. All right, I'm going to have to do it on this screen, so I'll share the other screen. All right, so share screen, and I'll do this one. And I'm going to give you an idea what I mean by hydrogen alpha. So is that coming up? Can you guys see that picture of the pelican?
Not yet, no.
Not yet, no.
Is it delayed?
No.
Oh, there we go.
There it is. Okay. It was
delayed. Okay.
In the meantime, Paul, Leslie Michaud was asking if you can provide a link for the purchase of those type of filters. She's got a T6 camera.
Oh, a T6. Okay. Yeah, I will before the shows. I'll get a link. I'll give you a couple of names actually of people that you can go to in Canada and get these.
Robert Cadet was asking for an email on the DSL or details for the DSO filters as well. So
details for the DSO filters.
Can you email me the details on the DSO filters?
For the camera, if it's for the camera, yeah. I mean, anything he wants for sure.
Yeah.
I'll send him a message and I'll get the information to him.
Okay.
Okay. Any other questions here before I continue?
Dave McCashin asked Paul, where did you get your EOS filters?
I got those actually from Astro Bicell.
Okay.
And especially now where one-shot color dedicated astronomy cameras are coming down in price. A lot of people who started out with DSLRs are switching over to that. So you're starting to see a lot of these clip-in filters on the used market, and they're extremely price friendly, and they work very, very, very well. Like they really do work well. Just you have to keep in mind that when you're buying them, that if you have a full frame camera, you got to get a full frame clip-in. If you have an APS-C camera, you got to get an APS-C clip-in, and you can get them for Nikon and Sony and all the other brands as well. So when you are getting these particular filters, make sure that you get them for your specific camera and your specific camera sensor size. That would be the best advice I could give you on that. Any other questions there?
No, I think that's it for now.
Okay. All right. So basically what you're seeing here is a picture of the Pelican Nebula. And the Pelican Nebula sits right beside the North American Nebula, for those who aren't familiar with that nebula. But you notice that that is all red. And the reason it is because that particular nebula was shot with an H alpha filter. So basically, it wasn't a dual narrowband. It was just H alpha. So it was only bringing in the concentration of red light. And that's why that image is just primarily red. When you see the image come up from your camera into your computer, it'll actually look black and white, and then you just have to add the red color into it. But the red factor is in there, so that's the light that it concentrates on. So there's a lot of nebulosity up there with that in it. So if I'm shooting something like this or the North American Nebula, I'm going to go to this narrowband, well, in my case, the narrowband filter, but I'm going to go to a hydrogen alpha filter because this is all of what is contained in that color pretty much, other than the stars. So that's that one. Now, if I, let me figure out how to do this. I'm not going to get into that part. Right there, this image was kind of powerful for me because I want you to see this. If you're taking a picture through a regular camera without that's not been modified like a regular DSLR. You see that image that you see that's right here, and this is the Lagoon Nebula, and you see how dull and not all, it's kind of orangey, not even really red, and it's kind of soft and really not very bright or brilliant. Well, that's basically what you'll get when you shoot from a regular kind of camera. But when you put an HF alpha filter on, see how red and dynamic and great that is? That's the difference between a regular camera and going with an H alpha filter. It really, really makes all the difference in the world. Or, again, going from a non-modified camera to a modified camera where you're allowing that red light to come in. So you allow that red light to come in, you're getting at least 75 to 80% more H alpha coming at you into your camera. And then at the same time, if you put a filter over top of that, you're basically pushing away everything else except for that 656 nanometers, which is that red color band that you want to get that filter. So that's what the H alpha does. Now, can I go back and forth on these pictures? I wanted to show you another one. Here's one here that was shot with a duo narrowband filter, and that was this that one I showed you that does 2 different bands. It's still a narrowband filter, so no matter how hard I try, I will never get natural colored stars because this is basically blocking out a lot of those blues and oranges and all those things that those natural star colors are, because it's really focusing very, very heavily on a couple of very focused narrow bands of light. So it's very, very difficult to take a dual narrowband filter and get very natural star colors without a lot of post-processing. So if you're going to do that, what a lot of people do, and what I'm starting to do now, is I'll take it and I'll shoot it in broadband first. In other words, I want all the color spectrum to come at me, so I get all the natural star colors, I get all that goodness, and then I'll go ahead and shoot it in H alpha. You put the H alpha filter on there, and then I can actually blend the 2 together, so I get the best of both worlds. I get all that gorgeous red highlights that I want, and at the same time, I'm still able to get those beautiful natural colored stars. So you get a really, really good blend of both if you have both filters. Here's another case of a broadband, something I wouldn't use an H alpha filter on. And this is M101, which is the Whirlpool or the Pinwheel Galaxy. And this one here, you'll notice it's very blue. And there's a lot of reflection nebula coming off that, or blue hot stars. And so that's a very, very blue gold kind of a look. If I tried to shoot that in narrowband, it would not look good. So that was something that I would shoot, and which I did in fact shoot with that broadband filter to be able to get those star colors nice and natural. However, there are spots in this particular nebula that if right now they just look like really bright patches of white. Those are actually hydrogen alpha regions. So I would have to reshoot that again in hydrogen alpha so I could get those nice red spots in there too. So that's lacking. So depending again on what you're doing, sometimes you may have to blend a couple of pictures. Now that may sound like a long process, but stop and think about it for a minute. If I was shooting in separate in RGB with a mono camera, I'd have to take 3 nights just to get the broadbands, right? But by using a one-shot color and by using these filters, I can get that same result depending on how long I want to shoot. Like if I'm only shooting 3 hours on each color, I can get the H alpha and the broadband all in one night, and I can blend them in and I'll have a complete picture the next day. Whereas if I'm shooting RGB or if I'm shooting individual narrow bands, it's a whole different kettle of fish. So again, because of our skies out here, out east here, time is precious, and good seeing or good transparency, well, transparency for nebulas, seeing for planets, but you have to have those conditions on top of clear skies. So again, time is very precious. So again, going to a one-shot color out here just makes sense. Any questions right now, or?
No, good so far.
Yeah, look, we're still good.
Okay, good. I just got a couple more slides and then I'll be done. What else I want to show you? I want to show you something that I have on my setup at home here in the yard. So if you look at that, you can see that the back, that red thing, that's my camera. So that's a dedicated astronomy camera. And that gold thing, that's just a focuser. But what's separating the two of them is actually what they call a filter drawer. And this is what makes this type of photography that I'm talking about easy, is because if I want to use my broadband filter, I put my broadband filter in that drawer, slip it in. I don't have to disassemble the camera. I don't have to refocus. I don't have to do any of that. I might have to refocus if I go to a narrowband, just because it might not be parafocal. But if it's not, it'd just be such a minute focus change. It would be very, very little. If I didn't have that drawer, if I wanted to change filters, I'd have to take the camera out, unscrew the filter from the end of the nose piece, put the other one back on, put the camera back in, refocus, and then try to reframe the picture exactly where it was before. I'm telling you that it's not fun. But just getting a simple filter drawer like that, when you're using a one-shot color, you just pull one filter out, slip the other one in, and you don't have to touch a thing virtually. And it just makes your life so much easier. And while you're able to take, if you wanted to, if you had a really, really good stretch of 6 to 8 hours of one night of imaging, you could do a whole target in both broadband and narrowband in a system just like that. And I think the only other thing I wanted to show you was, maybe it's not there. That's okay. I'll show you this galaxy instead. Can I go backwards? Yeah. Right there. So there's the Leo triplet, and this one here was shot in broadband. So again, so if I had a DSLR and if it was modified, or if I had a dedicated one-shot color astronomy camera, you can get results. You'll notice that the colors are very, very nice. I'll try to blow that up a little bit so that you can see some of the star colors are very natural, nice and gold. Again, I don't know what you're seeing at home there, but they're absolutely beautiful gold. You can see nice little galaxies in there. There's white stars, there's blue stars. So it's very, very, very nice when you can shoot and get all those colors, controlling the light pollution with a good broadband filter like I used for this particular shot. So, and where I'm at, my skies are considered Bortle 4. And on the Bortle scale, that's actually pretty good. It's quite dark. It's not dark going out to a park or anything, but it's dark enough, and I just have a little bit of light pollution to deal with. So, but you can get those kind of results with a DSLR as well. Again, if you want to modify it, or get a couple of filters in the front of your camera if it's not modified. So that being said, I've stopped screen share. And there we go. I'm back.
Hey, welcome back.
Okay,
we
there's a
knew
lot
you were
of
there.
work because it can get really convoluted and in all kinds of ways. But I just wanted to give you an idea a little bit about reasons for one shot versus mono, and broadband versus narrowband, just so that if you are going to go out there looking for filters, you get a little bit of an idea. But you can go online. There's just tons of stuff on this. So.
And Paul has a 24/7 tech support line too, so that you can give him a call. Again, donations accepted for that filtered wheel that he just dropped on the floor behind him. But
yeah. And just remember, like where I'm not a professional, I'm just a rank amateur.
Oh, yeah.
I'm not responsible for anything that doesn't work.
Always say that.
I just might so happen to have a filter wheel for sale if you broke yours.
Yeah.
Real good price.
All
One day sale.
All that fell on the floor was just a case, so I'm okay.
I can tell you the case too.
Thanks, Paul. That's great. Good talk.
All right.
So let's see. We're at about 8:52 right now.
Oh my gosh.
So we're about 8 minutes away. So Mike, maybe I'll put the question out to people out here. We can run a little bit longer tonight if it's okay with you. Mike has an excellent talk coming up about your own observatory trailer. So I'm going to ask you to comment. Let us know. I'll just wait here for about 30 seconds. Watch a couple of comments. If they come in saying continue, then we will continue.
Continue.
Called a COVID continuance.
Ooh, that word.
Yeah.
Keep going. Okay, we're getting go for it. Go for it. Go. Go,
I
go
want
Mike,
to see
go.
my talk. Great.
Didn't you
Okay.
have a couple of pictures you wanted to show, Chris, first?
Well, yeah, maybe I should show them real quick.
Hey, if we're going to keep going, maybe we'll keep
Yeah,
going.
I mean, we'll be into 90 minutes maybe total, I
I
guess.
don't
So.
have to work tomorrow.
I do. Okay, let's see if I can get a couple of pictures up here for you. So I'm going to try to share my screen, and I'm going to share this screen again, and I'm going to minimize this one, and I'm going to try to find those pictures. I'm sure they're right here. Yeah, okay. So I've got a few pictures here. I've got one from Irene Doyle, first of all. Irene is on our live feed here with us tonight. So
nice
she captured
moonshot.
the waxing crescent
Wow.
moon.
Nice.
Really nice, Irene. Good job. Not sure what you used for a lens there, but they come out very nice. And we did have a beautiful waxing moon this week. I always say it's beautiful anyway. It doesn't matter. Doesn't matter what the moon's doing. It's always beautiful. But thank you, Irene, for sending that in to us. Great shot. Dave McCashin has sent me in a few photos right now, so I'm going to bring up one of them here. This one is, Dave says it's the common images are from April the 25th of 2020. All three comets here are in camelopardalis in the evening sky, and all three images were taken with the same settings to show an accurate comparison of the three bright comets. They are single shot, 60-second, ISO 6400 processed in Photoshop. So there he's got a capture of Comet 2017 T2 Pan-STARRS, Comet C 2019 Y4 Atlas, and Comet C 2019 Y1 Atlas. So the Y4 Atlas was the one that broke up. You can see it's a little bit dimmer, but so there's just three comets in camelopardalis, and I think it's 15 comets up there right now, or even more, maybe even more than that. A large number of comets up there to view right now. If you go to a web page called heavens-above.com, in the top right-hand corner, there's a little spot that says unspecified. If you click on unspecified and choose your location, like St. John, then choose update at the bottom of the page. It'll take you to another page which has a list of items that you can look at, the ISS, comets, planets. Click on comets there, and it'll give you the complete list of comets that are visible in your night sky.
Hey, Chris.
Yes.
We don't seem to be showing the pictures on Facebook.
Oh, that's probably true. Hang on a second, just a sec. Let's go back here.
Everybody's
There we
itching
go.
to see.
Okay. Let's, yeah, I had to double click there on the other screen. So let's try this again. I'm going to minimize that one. And there's
All still looks fantastic, but we're not seeing the moon.
Yeah.
It's on Facebook. There we go. I think it's starting to come up now.
There we go. Okay. It's going to start popping up on Facebook here. Just a little delay. There we are. So we're back to Irene's picture here again of the waxing crescent moon. Now that I'm clicked on myself, yeah, there's some really weird stuff happening here tonight. YouTube, I'm not allowed to see the live comments. I can't even see live chat on YouTube. My screen size is different on Facebook. Anyway, we're working our way through it. Okay, so that's Irene's picture of the waxing crescent, and we'll go back here again to Dave's picture of the comets. There they are. Hopefully you're seeing them now on Facebook. So three comets together there. From April 25th, 2020, all three comets are in camelopardalis in the evening sky. All three images were taken with the same settings to show an accurate comparison of the three bright comets. They are a single shot, 60 seconds, ISO 6400, processed on Photoshop. So thanks, Dave, for that.
Nice.
Nice comparison. I'm going to take a look at what he's got next here. Just a second. I think it was this one. These are his moon images that he had.
Oh, beauty.
Oh, look at the stars.
So the moon images from the same night highlighting the moon / epsilon tau occultation. So Mike, that was the night of the Starlings.
Yeah, when we were up on the Xerox, yeah.
Right, and we saw that star get occulted by the moon.
Beautiful.
Pretty impressive. Very nice, Dave. And here's another one of Dave's.
That's what we were seeing.
Yeah, just a few days old. Same date, April 25th. And he's got a shot here of the Milky Way.
Oh, nice.
So the Milky Way image is from last summer at approximately 1:30 a.m. on July 8th, 2019. It shows an approximate location of the galactic center with two planets, Jupiter and Saturn, on either side.
Wow.
That's nice, eh?
Yeah, if he had gotten just a little bit wider, he would have been able to put Antares right in there.
Yes, that's true. Yeah,
That's beautiful.
really nice shot.
Wow.
Great capture, Dave.
The dark skies of the pro.
Yeah. And here he's got the moon, Venus, moon and Venus with Taurus there. So,
Oh,
and
yes.
the Pleiades off on the right-hand side.
Yep.
So really nice captures. Now, what's that?
Fries are done.
Yeah. So there's one picture I want to bring up, just a real quick one, is this one here. There's a lot going around on the internet right now that the moon, Venus, and Jupiter will be aligned to form a nice smiley face on May 16th, 2020. No. And the reason why is because Venus is in our evening sky, and the moon is going to be up in our morning sky on that date. And here's Saturn and Jupiter on that same date, May 16th. So Saturn and Jupiter way over here. Here's the moon. That's some long smiley face, if that's what it's going to be. So, and then Mars is sitting here as well. Mercury will pop up here shortly after. But so this view is not going to happen. So this view, not this view. Another truth of the internet. Another true tale.
Well, what if you ran all the way on the other side of the moon, to the left side of it, and then
Yeah, turned your head to the side. You might get that view. You're right.
You get all the way right there and have the wrong filter.
Yeah, exactly. Uh-oh, I'm punching buttons again. Okay, I think I'm good.
Oh, Irene says she used the full HD 83 times optical zoom for that moon picture.
Very nice, Irene. Good shot.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, and
Yeah.
yeah, the last one was this one. And here's the address. If you want to send us your photos, we'd love to get them in. And we'll take as many as you want to send us. We usually try to get 3 or 4 a person, or 5 even a person. If they want to send them in, that's great. Whatever you got, send them in to us. We'd love to put them up on the show and talk about them, and share your experience about how you captured them, so that we can pass that on to others. So it's Sunday Night Astronomy Show, all one word there, at gmail.com. And I go in on a regular basis and take a look and see what's there, capture them, download them, and get them ready for the show. So thanks very much, everybody, for sending those in. And I'm going to stop sharing my screen now, and I'm going to go back to Mike. So let's get us clicked on the mic here. I think that's us. Hey, Mike.
All right, let me share my screen. I want this one, I guess. And hopefully you should see.
Yeah, there you are.
Hey.
That's all 3 observatories. Well, 2 observatories and a back deck.
And a beach. 2 observatories on the beach.
So this is just see if I can get through this, because I got to get. Let me hide this because my toolbar is popping up in the way, and I'm hearing an echo here. Hold on. See if I can hit the next slide. There we go. Building my observatory trailer. Anybody that knows me has probably seen it in a star party or seen it kicking around. So I thought, I've gone through a lot of things, and the one thing I haven't shown is the observatory trailer that I built. So I thought I'd do a quick little blurb on it. There's a little bit of a story behind it. We'll start with this. I had a truck camper. Am I coming through okay there?
Oh, yeah,
Yep.
great.
Yep, perfect.
I had a truck camper, one of those campers that just slides in the back of your pickup truck. And you know something? My wife and I loved it. We thought it was the greatest thing ever. It was just the 2 of us. You didn't have to safety it. You didn't have to inspect it every year. You just slide it in the back of your truck and away you go. And if you wanted to haul a trailer behind you, you still could. And it was big enough for just the 2 of us. It had all the amenities. It had a washroom in it. It had the fridge and stove and a queen size bed up over the top of the truck. But we thought, something, if we like this so much, maybe bigger would be better. So we moved to this, and we bought a 26-foot travel trailer, and we hated it. It ended up being parked in the backyard. She for some reason, she just didn't like going on the trips with the trailer. She liked the camper, but not the trailer. I did take the trailer to, let me see if I can click here, a couple of star parties, but it was just me hauling this great big, trailer behind me, and I saw no use for it. I said, something's just too big for just one person. to be hauling around back and forth to star parties and things. Yes, it was comfortable and it had all the amenities, but it was just kind of a waste for just myself going to star parties. So I got online and I started looking just to see if anybody else had ever come up with some kind of an observatory trailer. And if it changes here, get out of the way. Lo and behold, I found a few. Now, if you look over here on the top left, I guess, that is actually a manufactured observatory trailer. The roof rolls off. It goes down on hydraulic jacks. The floor opens up and your pedestal actually goes down and sits on the ground. So when you walk around inside the trailer, it doesn't shake your scope. But it would scare you to know what the price of that one manufactured trailer would cost you. The other three are kind of home built, and I thought, pretty cute. You see the domes. I could have taken my travel trailer, this bottom one on the left, and cut the top off and put a dome on it. But I thought, that's a lot of work, and I'm probably ruining a perfectly good trailer that I can sell. The one on the top right, it's just it looks like a small utility trailer, and the guy stuck a dome on it big enough that you can sit inside. I don't know. My guess is it raises up a little bit. But and then the third one, it shows again a cargo trailer with basically a dome on the top. But the problem with that is your scope moves when you walk around on the floor. And I said, I'm going to build something that, maybe I'll put my scope outside and just use the trailer for me. So I started searching around to see what I could come up with. And I found that I could build my own out of a cargo trailer. I like the cargo trailer idea. You can various sizes and things like that. And they're relatively inexpensive. And I was searching on Kijiji one day, and I actually found this is a commercial picture of it, but it's called a Pace American 2004 cargo trailer. It's 6 foot by 12 foot. It's got the side door, which was great. And I was looking for a trailer that did not have a ramp at the back. Most of them are designed for moving furniture, so the back drops down as a ramp. I was looking for a set of double doors. And sure enough, right here just in town, and it turned out to be a guy that I used to work with, had one for sale, and he was hauling his Harley Davidson with it. And, if he's taking care of his Harley, he's taking care of his trailer. And I went out to see him, and I got this pristine trailer at a really good price. So I thought, okay, where do I go from here? It was bare bones. You can see completely empty inside, but at least it's all wood. And, the spare tire. So I proceeded to paint the whole thing inside gray. So everything just gray. I just painted all the walls, the floor, the whole 9 yards, the roof, everything, just painted it all gray, number one. But you can see here, if I go to the next screen, I'm having a hard time clicking on my arrows here because it's down at the bottom of the page. You can see the trailer I got. This is the picture of it when I got it basically from him. The side door, everything, like I said, it's pristine, not a dent in it, not a mark on it. When I got it home, I painted the tongue black. That was about it. You can see the other side there, 6 by 12. And I like the fact that it's got not a pointy front. I was looking for something that was squared off in the front. A lot of them are snowmobile ones, and they're pointed in the front. They kind of follow the tongue in that shape of the point. And I thought they were personally kind of ugly, so I wanted to stay away from that. And sure enough, it had the double doors in the back. So, yeah, I bought it off them. Got it home, washed it up. Thought, this is a good trailer. Now what do I do? Well, the whole inside was painted gray, like I said, top to bottom. And I said, if I'm going to use it for astronomy, the first thing I'm going to need is a desk. So I don't have pictures of my actual construction. I went searching for them. They're on another computer somewhere, and I can't find them, but you'll get the gist of what I got going on here. I built, come on. Excuse me, a desk. So you can see where everything's painted gray, and it's basically a desk that I can set my laptop on. A little seat down here on the bottom that I can sit on. And up top, I have where my 12-volt 15-inch monitor or 17-inch monitor sits.
That's not there anymore.
No, that's actually sitting right behind me because we stole it for another purpose. I take it out of the trailer normally for the winter anyway. But that's where that monitor goes, and I can use it as a second monitor for my laptop. And the desk worked out great. So I said, okay, now I have a desk in place. What else do I do? Well, I needed a little bit of storage. So let me go back one. If you look here next to the desk, I basically build a box, and it has a drawer, or excuse me, 2 levels, an upper and lower. The cabinet doors all came from the Restore. I don't think I paid more than $2 a piece for each of the cabinet doors. So the carpet and everything came from the Restore. So everything that was put into this trailer besides the plywood came from Restore, and it's all recycled, cabinets and things like that. So I built storage there, and then on the other side of the desk, I needed some place to stick my tripods and things like that for my scopes. So I built basically, it's a tripod rack, and I can fit 3 different telescope tripods in there. Whoops, I'm going to go back one more here. I'm clicking the button too quickly. If you notice the floor at the back by the desk, I knew I was going to be rolling around in a chair. So I found just some click floor and stuck it down there. And then what I call my habitable side, where I sleep and eat and do other things, is all carpeted. So it is divided, and you can see the piece of aluminum checker plate there, because I figured if I'm at a desk, I'm going to be getting in and out of the trailer quite a bit at the back, and I didn't want to track grass through the whole thing. So I thought, wouldn't it be cool to have click floor at the back? You can wipe that out with a rag, and then you can kick your shoes off back there and walk on the carpet, and it's nice on your feet, and it keeps the carpet clean at the same time. So then I needed storage up front, so I built the 4 cabinets up front at the top. And again, all these cabinet doors and knobs and hinges and everything came from the Restore. And there we go. You can put everything inside nice and neat. I got all these little containers from the dollar store. And instead of just jamming stuff in, everything is labeled. Everything has its place. And when I go to look for stuff, it's easy to find. The film canisters are holding, on the right-hand side of the picture there, they're holding my solar filters. And then, like I said, the rest of these little dollar store cups hold basically everything else, all my other junk. Let's see if it'll go next. Sticks. So again, I had some room at the front, so I thought, now what? I built the lower cabinets in as well, with basically a desk on top if I want to sit there and put my drink or write something. The 2 cabinet doors on the bottom, that's where I store my camping gear. So my Coleman stove is in there, my pillows in there, my sleeping bags in there, my extra frying pans and things like that are all stored. So my camping gear basically stores in the front. And then on the left-hand side, you see what basically turned out to be a bench. If I take the cushions off, I can open the bench up, and that's where I store all my optical tubes. So I can fit my C9, my C6, and a C8 all in there, plus 3 mounts I can fit in there. And then I can close them up. The cushions I had made by an old fella down in Diggity Wash. They're basically a 4-inch foam rubber that he put the material on and made zipper cushions out of it for me. I put 2 emergency blankets, pillows on each end, so each of these pillows open up into an emergency blanket should something happen somewhere, or they just open up to a nice warm blanket when you need one. And then if I take the cushion off the back and set it on the floor, this bench is actually wide enough to be a full-size bed for me. So that's how I sleep. So that's, and then I thought, okay, got to continue a little bit further. It can't just be, a trailer. So I found at the dollar store a bunch of frames. I think they were $2 a piece or something like that. They're glass frames. And I got a picture, a bunch of deep space images and planetary images and stuff like that. And I stuck them all around on the inside, screwed them right to the wall so they don't fall off. And it gives it a little bit of a spacey look in there. And then the next was to look at it and say, okay, I got to get some graphics done. Excuse me. So I was looking at, do I want to use my logo, which is basically the big white sticker you saw at the beginning there. And it's got color and everything else in it. I wanted something simple. It's a white trailer, so I thought it'd just go black. And it's the PFO Observatory. And for people who wonder what PFO stands for, again, if you look at the bottom left, it says pretty far out. So I purposely had that decal made on the bottom to explain what the PFO stands for. And then I thought just the 3 black kind of look like a galaxy outer edge to give it a little bit of a spacey look. And then my wife came up with the term where the sky's the limit. So that was the simple decal system or graphics that I had put on the side of the trailer. And there's the other side. And then, excuse me, I got a gift from my sons if you look at the front of the trailer here on the tongue, they bought me an aluminum tongue box. It goes with the aluminum patch on the front of the trailer. It looks nice.
Nice.
And that's where I store my little generator, a few jacks, a couple of blocks of wood, and a few extra tools and things like that. So it's just another place for storage that takes the stuff, things out of the trailer, and I can store them outside. Excuse me. And of course, me being me, at the time I was driving an F-250 and I wanted the wheels to match, so I bought a set of custom wheels. That one's a whole
I'm surprised you didn't get them Celestron orange.
Like I said, that's a whole story in itself, especially when you hear the phone conversation I had with this fellow why only one rim showed up.
Yeah, I remember that.
I got Bubba was eating a sandwich apparently. Anyway, that's a whole story in itself. But I ended up getting the two wheels at a really, really good price.
That's probably one of the funniest stories I've ever heard too, that one. Yeah.
It's a company in Louisiana that actually builds custom wheels for fishing boat trailers. These guys that go into fishing competitions and stuff. So he builds custom wheels for them. I can quickly tell you here. So when I ordered them and he told me they were shipped, they sent me an invoice and it only showed the weight or what looked like the weight of one wheel. And I said, geez, there can't be two wheels. It's only got to be one. So I phoned them direct and I was expecting this. You look at it, it's this great big ass company, and it's huge glass door. It looks like a car dealership. I mean, it's fairly impressive the setup they got down there. But when the guy answered the phone, he had this southern accent, and he says, "Yo, Mr. Powell, what can we do for you?" And I said, "Well, you shipped out my wheels, but it only looked like there was one in the package." He goes, "Well, just a minute, let me talk to my shipper." Bubba, put that sandwich down. You shipped him one wheel or two. At that point, I didn't know what I was dealing with. Anyway, as it was, they shipped me one wheel, and he worked the whole deal, and he paid me back pretty much half the price, and I got both wheels for the price of one, and they did show up, and I was extremely satisfied. But that Bubba has put down your sandwich.
My shipping department.
Excuse me. The trailer being built, it was time to put her on the road, head for the star parties.
Nice. Yeah.
So, going down the road, it looks good. It hauls nice. It's very simple. It takes up the space. No more room than, say, a double tent. So it's not like hauling the big travel trailer with me. You can see here quickly the setup. The trailer pulls in. I found this. It's called a Once Up or Easy Up gazebo, and it sets right beside it. You swear it was made for it. It fits so perfect. And of course, I have the tent walls for it. I have the screen walls for it to keep mosquitoes out, or I just have these two wind or solar barriers just to keep the shade. But it's a nice add-on. And you can turn it into a spare room if you so choose. If somebody doesn't bring a tent or something, we can fit people in.
Or it even ends up as a comedy club sometimes.
Well, whatever. You can see it next shot. It does have a tendency to attract people. I don't know. Maybe it's because we could all sit in the shade and put chairs in all at once. But it does become the center of attention at a lot of the star parties for gatherings. And I think that's great. I love that part of it.
Yeah.
It could be I got the biggest cooler. I have no idea. But again, there's another shot there. What I've done is when I put the gazebo on the side, I lay down an RV mat, and that keeps a lot of the grass and stuff out of the inside. When I kick the back doors open, I got a second RV mat. That's usually where I'll set my telescope. And I can sit, right down at the desk and operate everything from there if I so choose. But most of the time, the nights are nice, and I'm right out at the scope working on the outside anyway. The other thing that I found, or we found, I guess, is it's good for other venues. Like
yeah,
it became an events trailer. If you remember when we went to the Moon Bazaar.
Moonlight Bazaar, yeah.
We brought the trailer down, and we had a coffee maker going. We had the gazebo set up, and that's where we had our prizes and stuff laid out for the draw that we had. Paul brought a sound system. That plugged into the laptop, that, of course, that sat on the desk. And when it turned nighttime, you see here, we projected, we put the projector up on the roof, and we projected the moon landings and deep space images and stuff on a brick wall for that Moon Bazaar. And as it turned out, the trailer worked out well to be a for that, and like an events trailer, so to speak. So I'm sure down the road when we get back into doing public observing or public events and stuff like that, we can bring the trailer along, and if we can get a projector or we can do anything we want with it, it's a great setup for doing those kind of venues. That's a nice picture of the veil you did there, Paul. On the
side of a building, eh? That was excellent. That projector was amazing, but and we had a good time. That was a lot of fun.
That was a blast. That was a blast.
And like I said, the trailer worked out well for us. It was a little hard to get out afterwards, but I mean, the point was it was a good night. The trailer worked out really, really well for us. Yeah. And so that's basically my observatory trailer and how it came to be, and where we'll go with it in the future, I guess.
Thanks, Mike. I've had a lot of fun with that trailer. It's always it's the main attraction at star parties.
Hey, Mike, can you go back a couple of slides?
Uh-oh.
Are you out? Are you already gone too far?
I'm out altogether. What were you looking for?
That slide. It just reminded me when you were talking about your trailer, and just before Chris said the comedy club, the night that we were up at Lake Livingston, and it poured to beat the band.
Oh yeah.
And that slide was of that night.
That's right.
And that tent that you had set up there was waterproof. It kept everybody dry because we huddled underneath that
That's
thing.
right, we did.
And we kept dry, and it rained so hard. It was unbelievable. But that thing kept us dry.
Stop sharing for now. I noticed that was your camera on that Skywatcher mount sitting there.
Yeah. But it was such a fun night because right after that really bad rain, it was the best sky I think I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was incredible.
Oh yeah,
incredible sky.
Crystal clear sky. That was amazing.
Yeah, that was a good time.
Yeah, whenever you see PFO trailer show up, you know it's going to be a good time.
Another PFO moment.
Or you're going to get wet. I think there was some holes that night.
Yeah, didn't matter.
That was good fun. That was a really good time.
Thanks, Mike. That's excellent. Another well done MacGyver moment.
Absolutely.
So, Paul, I guess we got about 10 minutes left. Do you want to squeeze in Rosanna's fun facts there?
Okay.
Hang on, I'll see if I can. Oh, hang on. Well, you get your stuff ready, Paul. I'll try to find out what I'm looking for. You know what I'm looking for anyway. So.
Yeah. No, I am pretty much ready.
Pretty much ready.
I think I just got to find.
I think I might be too. We'll have to see
here.
She is.
Should click on you, Chris.
Huh?
Click on you.
Oh, yeah, okay. Hang on.
And?
Well, I'm going to actually bring up Paul, I guess, so he's going to be doing the talking.
Okay, and I just got to find my Rosanna's fun facts. There they are.
I wonder if this is going to work. We'll have to try it. I think we'll give it a shot. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Everybody's saying "oh" all at once.
Oh. 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 Well, that worked well.
There. Okay, I'm
all. I got my Bluetooth speaker.
Well, we took so long that it went offline, so I think it's going back on here now. Here,
maybe we're talking to nobody.
Let's try this again.
Oh my goodness.
Oh, not going to do it that time either, is it? Well, that's good. Let me get off. I'll have to take the Bluetooth off, and now maybe it'll play. We're right back to where we were, aren't we?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Humble beginnings.
Okay, let's try this again. We'll have to go back to the old cell phone try again. I had it working earlier too.
Oh.
Rosanna's fun fact.
Hey, there she is.
That magic moment.
There she is.
Thanks again, Peter.
Yes.
We're so happy we can flub that up every time.
That's okay. It's all part of the show.
Yeah.
I can't imagine doing it flawlessly.
Damn speaker.
All right. Is Rosanna up there?
She is.
All right. Okay. So let me just hide that. There we go. So this week on Rosanna's Fun Facts, this is really an interesting one that Rosanna sent to us. And so she says, "Hi, guys. This week I had some time pleading calls and emails from students asking about when in-person lessons. Rosanna teaches piano and stuff, so when she would be up and running again. And she said, she feels their pain. And I was told by more than one that they are sick of tablets and screening and learning in general. They're anxious for hands-on, real-time, real life. I think we all are. Since this is Astronomy Week, lots of wondering was happening in my mind about education and astronomy in education as well. Especially since no outreach can be done at this time, I would often bring my scopes out for the piano students, and both activities, of course, are missed. So she says, our skies continue to clear and observing is even easier for some, made me wonder about ancient astronomy and astronomers. In the book Chasing the Sun, there is a great chapter of the first astronomers. It turns out the average Babylonian school child knew far more about the heavens than we do today. It was something encouraged and that part of daily life to take note of and track movements of the stars, planets, the sun, and the moon. And after all, there was no TV for distraction. The night sky was the entertainment. So the Assyrian capital of Nineveh was only a few hundred kilometers from Babylon. And in its great library established, I'm going to show a picture here, I guess. There we go. And I'm just going to blow that up because this is very well, it's not real clear, but you can see it. So Nineveh was only a few hundred kilometers away from Babylon, and its great library established at least 22,000 astronomical tablets were collected. So this is one of the astronomical tablets from back at 668 to 627 BCE. So these tablets were exacting in the record of lunar and solar eclipses among Emphorites or matters of the day. So in 612 BCE, the Assyrian Empire came crashing down, and the library was destroyed except for the tablets, which were buried and thus preserved. And they resurfaced in right around 1870 when a French official in Baghdad, his curiosity piqued by some of the large fragments of sculpture, began to dig there. Another 50,000 astronomy-related tablets were written between 3000 and 450 BCE, were excavated from the temple library of Nippur. There may be as many as 500,000 scattered around the museums all over the world, and only a fraction which have been deciphered. So countless more remain under the Iraqi sand. So now those are tablets I think of us, any of us would be interested in looking at. And that's the next one here I'm going to show you. So that's the largest and most detailed of the three, and it's called Uranology Text from the Yale Babylonian Collection. And this tablet has a subscript indicating that it was copied on January 4th, 214 BCE, and indicates a passage about the twins or Gemini. And, oops, sorry.
Oh. Oh, I might be ready. Okay, and that is. Oh, hang on.
Oh.
Here we go. Let's try that again. And that is this week's.
Rosanna's Fun Fact.
Hey!
Rosanna. Loved it.
Another flub show. Another flub moment. Perfect. Oh, well, it wouldn't be us without that, right? So
you gotta have it.
Gotta have fun. So yeah, we're not going to talk too much about the night sky because we're getting into 927. Thanks, by the way, Paul, for giving that topic for us, and Rosanna as well, of course, for sending in the information. I just want to get a little bit on our night sky this week. So I'm just going to talk just a couple of minutes about it, and I'm not going to bring up stellarium at all because we're running pretty late on time. But of course, right now we got to keep an eye out for Venus in our western sky. It's still there. It's the third brightest object in our sky behind the sun and our moon. And we're only going to have it until about June 3rd, it looks like. Venus is going to be in between us and the sun, so it'll be in what we call inferior conjunction. So after a week or so after that, or a few days after that, we're going to get it to pop up in our morning sky. So we'll have Venus, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn all in our morning sky, which is going to be kind of a nice show there. Along with the moon, when that comes along and joins it. And speaking about the moon, we're going to have actually, for the next several mornings too, we want to keep an eye on the annual Eta Aquarid meteor shower. So that's the meteor shower that brings us about 50 at peak per hour. But it's only really visible in the early hours of the morning. I'll say just before dawn, like about an hour before dawn, because Aquarius has to be up quite high. They're called the Eta Aquarids. So Aquarius has to be up quite high before we see them. The radiant sits in Aquarius. And that only happens about 4 o'clock in the morning. So we get about from 4 till, say, 5:30 before sunlight starts to break for the opportunity to see those. So, and we've also got a moon. I guess we don't have a moon that time in the morning, so we're okay for that. But it'll be minimal at best. Usually it's not a show like the Perseids are or anything like that. But you might get a chance to see a few. And, of course, it's not just on one day. The peak is actually on May the 5th. So, but you can pick tomorrow and a few other days throughout the week, and actually they last for about 2 weeks altogether. So, if you do get out and see if you're out till the wee hours of the morning, or maybe you're an early riser, that's the time to get out and take a look and see if you're going to be up to look at the planets anyway. You might as well be, right? So the other thing is the morning planets that are coming up right now, that are up right now, Mars, Jupiter, and Saturn. So the first one that appear early in the morning is Jupiter. That's the brightest of the three. So and then Saturn will appear after that, and then Mars shortly after that again. Where that message is coming from. We'll get rid of that right now. Yeah, so that's our morning planets, and they're going to continue for a while yet. Venus, of course, is going to join them shortly. But then Saturn and Jupiter are going to be up in our summer sky all summer long. So we're going to have beautiful views of Saturn and its rings and Jupiter and its moons all summer. They're going to be well placed in our summer sky. And also we're going to catch up to Mars this year. Mars is going to be the closest that it's been to us since 2003. That'll be in October. So it'll still be fairly close when we get into late summer. So that's something to keep an eye on as well. And of course we have our supermoon coming up on May the 6th, in the 7th, 28th of this month. And it's our last supermoon of the year. And I guess it's called also the milk moon or the planting moon or the flower moon. But it should appear a little bit larger than normal, about 10% or so larger. But can I remember what it was last month or the month before? Probably not. But it is going to appear big on the horizon. And that's another thing called the Ponzo effect or the moon illusion, where objects appear very large at the horizon as they're rising, or even as they're setting. If we look at Orion tonight, say just after sunset, and we were watching it set down into our western sky, it would appear very big at the horizon. So that's just a trick that our brain plays on us. But the moon will actually be closer to us, not at its closest approach, but I guess if it appears within 90% of its closest approach at a full moon, then it's called a supermoon. So that'll be our last supermoon of the year. So that's about all I really wanted to mention about that. Oh, actually, too, May 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, we're going to see the waning moon. So after we get to full, it's going to start going back the other direction and it'll start coming up in our morning sky. So May 11th, 12th, 13th, and 14th, the moon is going to pass by all the planets in the morning sky. So we'll have Jupiter, Saturn, and Mars, and it's going to make a nice show. I believe it's on the 12th, where Jupiter and Saturn are sitting at the top and the moon's underneath. So not quite the smiley face that they talked about either, though. But it's going to be in that general area. So really nice opportunities to just take a look at them, even with binoculars, or get out with your camera and take some really nice photo ops right there. So that's about all I'm going to mention about that. Maybe next week we'll have a little bit more time. We'll talk in the stellarium itself. So guys, I guess we're into 9:30. Holy mackerel! Wow, time goes by fast. So I guess in closing tonight, I want to thank each and every one of you again for your continued support of our efforts here. I want to remind you that we do love getting your photos again, so you can send them to SundayNightAstronomyShow@gmail.com. and we will put them up on the broadcast. And we love to get them, and we love to talk about them, and we'd like to get some information about what you use to take the photos. That's all good for us and good for everybody else who's on here with us. My special thanks again, of course, to Rosanna Armstrong for her Fun Facts episodes, and of course from Paul and Mike for you guys for your continued support out there. Say hi, guys.
Hi, guys.
Hi, guys. Big hands and all.
Big hands as well. There you are. All right. I'd also like to say that if you enjoyed the content here tonight, please consider giving us a like on the episode if you're watching us on YouTube. And if that's where you're watching us from, please consider subscribing too, if you would, if you haven't already done so. And I guess I just had a couple of last comments. I'd also like to say, ask you that to share with your friends and family that we are live on Sunday nights, and this is a family-friendly show. Hope it's been anyway. Pretty close. But we welcome all ages here for this program, and we love to do a live show because we like seeing your comments and like seeing who's on here with us and getting your questions as well. So finally, folks, another week of this new normal is about to start, and it does seem like we're going to have to get used to it here for at least the foreseeable future as far as outreach goes and our own lives in particular. I know these times are tough for all of us, but if we do stick together, we follow the current health guidelines, we will get through all of this. So just keep washing no hands, practice that 6-foot distancing rule, stay at home if you can, and remember that we are here to help entertain you each week at the same time. So for now then, from Paul and Mike and I, stay healthy, folks, stay safe, and we hope to see you here again next week. And guys, how we sign off is keep your scopes
Point it up.
pointed up.
Good night.
Good night, everybody. Thanks so much for joining us.